high school graduates who were able to share their perspective from having recently left our K-12 system. Today, we are excited to hear about 3 innovative programs from across our state that are preparing students for graduation. And we really benefit from hearing from the voices of the students. And we're really excited to be joined by Sheridan High School, Wind River High School, and Rock Springs, sharing the different approaches they are taking to prepare students for graduation. So we are going to, I believe, start with Sheridan High School.
There we go. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm Heidi Richens at Sheridan High School, and we want to take a few minutes to share with you our internship program that we do here at Sheridan High School. I have invited some students to join me because they will tell it best. I have Cade Relaford here with me and 2 other young ladies who had planned to be with us today are also in the track meet today. So they will not be here in person, but they have prepared a little written summary of their internships that I will share. So what we'd like to do to get started is I just tell a little bit about the program we do at the high school, and you have that program description that we shared. But if we were to just in a nutshell say what we want to do with internships at Sheridan High School is to give students an opportunity to have a long-term career exploration situation that connects them with something that is of an interest to them. And the process starts actually when they're a sophomore. We do some presentations in the English classes and try to do some question and answer, gearing those students toward thinking about their future in terms of what they would like to do as an internship. So I do a little bit of advising along the way, helping them choose classes that might lead them into a career pathway. But when they are a junior registering for their senior year, there is an application process, and they would come in and visit with me, and we would talk about classes they've taken and things that they would like to explore. And then we, over the course of the summer, take that application and match them up with a mentor in the community. And over the course of this program, which has been more than 20 years, we have a large number. I believe last time I counted about 20 ongoing mentors, and a list of more than 200 that we have used in Sheridan. So that's kind of the system. There are some requirements along the way for those students. They keep a timesheet and a journal. There is a mentor evaluation at the end and a final project that they present what their internship, what they learned at that internship, and what the takeaways, so to speak, are from that experience. Are there any questions for me at this point?
Board members? I think we're good.
Okay, so I would like to introduce you to Cade. I have asked the 3 students that I invited to join us today, again, 2 of them not in person, but to share a little bit about their internship, what the experience of their internship was, what they learned, and kind of what the takeaways from that experience were, and where they go from here. How does that experience play into their post-high school experience and what they plan to do? So I'm going to turn some time over here to Cade to share about his internship.
So I'm Cade Relaford, as Ms. Richens said. My internship is out at Weatherby Rifles here in Sheridan. So I spend at least 3 hours a day at my internship. So 1 to 4, I stay till 5, even later on some days. I shadow the engineering department, but to say what I do out there is kind of hard. I do a little bit of everything. I've been with every department. I've been with the machinists, the stock finishers, the stock preppers, the ballistics. I've experienced everything out there. I've learned how to lay a stock, how to fill a stock, how to sand a stock, how to flute a barrel, operate most of their machines. I've never been able to operate them for insurance reasons, but I've learned all about them. I spent time in ballistics, learning about all of that. But I shadowed Jim Allen, who is my mentor, and under him, I've reviewed plans, I've written project proposals as well as standard operating procedures. I've not really been a big part of Weatherby, but I've made my time there to its best. And it's really shadowing this engineering department at Weatherby has really made me want to become a mechanical engineer.
That's fantastic, Cade. So how does that compare to, say, your classes that you have in the high school?
So I only have 2 classes at the high school right now. I have public speaking and welding. I don't want to be at school, but I want to be at Weatherby. I feel like my internship's more of a life experience. I've been in school for 12 years now. It feels like a waste of time. I just want to get out in the real world. That internship's giving me experiences and just kind of show me what I want to do with my life and what I want to do with my future.
Before you started at Weatherby, were you interested in mechanical engineering? How did you choose Weatherby out of all of the options?
So Weatherby was kind of presented to me. One of my friend's parents was joking about, I'm like, man, I want to do that. So I pursued it. And to answer your the first part of your question, I had slight interest in mechanical engineering. I was torn between mechanical or petroleum, but working at Weatherby has really kind of pushed me towards the mechanical engineering aspect.
Okay, can I ask you what your plans are for after high school now?
I am planning to attend the University of Wyoming, where I'll pursue a degree in mechanical engineering.
Fantastic. Other board members, if there is a question. Yes, Debbie.
My finger's not. There we go. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Cade, I thought I heard you have to do a final presentation or final project. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Would you tell me what you did?
So I'm currently in the process of making mine. It's basic but simple, but it highlights all the engineering aspects. I wrote a project proposal and a work order for a table to fill stocks. And then I'm currently building a prototype for the table. I've drawn plans for it. I've written the standard operating procedure on how to build the table. So it is simple, but just highlights all those aspects of the engineering.
Go
Hi,
ahead.
Cade. This is Robin Chamber. I just want, this is a comment to you and to the rest of the board. He's smiling. I've known Cade for a long time, and I'm like so excited to see where you're ending up in life, Cade. For the rest of you, Cade was one of my robot enthusiasts early on in my 4-H life, where I taught a lot of state 4-H stuff. And he was the cutest little kid, would come to me every year with these great robot projects. I had never seen anything so intense as the things that he would build and do and program. So it is so exciting to see someone follow that through, and you're gonna make it. I'm really excited about you, Cade. Way to go.
Thank you, Robin.
Maybe just one follow-up to that. It's so exciting to see the progression in real kids like you, Cade, from 4-H to school to an apprenticeship and work opportunity like this. And my son would be really jealous of your mullet. That's impressive. So I'm Jillian Balo, the state superintendent, and during this legislative session, there was a bill passed that made it easier for youth to kind of overcome the barriers of workman's comp in the workplace. And you know, I heard a quote a few weeks ago, and I'm paraphrasing here, but it just said that usually people's goals are only lessened or reduced by the system that constrains them. And so I was wondering if you had identified any barriers in your experience that maybe we as a state board ought to be considering when we keep learning about the profile of a graduate for Wyoming.
Off the top of my head, I really can't think of any barriers. The way the system is set up for internship and the high school alone, I feel like it provides plenty of time and both opportunities to achieve just what you need to do to graduate and just extracurricular activities in general. So I can't really think of any barriers off the top of my head.
That's less work for us. Thanks, Cade.
If there's no, is there any more comments or questions? I'd like to share these written kind of statements from the other two students
Sure.
that were able to join us.
One more question.
There's one more question
One
for
more
Kate.
question, Kate, if I could. So this is Mark Mathern from Casper. You had this opportunity to do the internship, later in your high school career. What's experiences would you recommend for maybe somebody that's in 9th grade or 10th grade, maybe somebody that's in 6th grade? What experiences would you say, boy, I wish I could have had this experience earlier? And then the second part of that is, when did you decide to focus on the mechanical engineering? Was it after you had the experience in this internship, or did you always want to be an engineer, for the past few years?
So some experiences I wish I could pass on some younger members that I wish I could have done. Stick with things a little longer. When it came to sports, I'm like, I'm in high school, I'm done. And I kind of regret that. Freshman year would have been kind of fun to do that. But then the more academic aspect, there's always time for homework. You don't need to have senioritis, even as a senior. It's not hard. Just buckle down and get it done. Don't give up. And then finally is go out of your comfort zone a little bit, but don't go so far out that you can't return to safety. You want to be able to try new things, but then if you don't like it, you don't want to be stuck with it and be so far out there that you can't get back to what you love and like. And then to answer your question about mechanical engineering, I've always wanted to be in some sort of math field since I was little. My dad used to work for a natural gas company. And before I was even in preschool, I ran up to his boss, sat in his lap and said, I wanted to be an engineer. So then the time progresses. I want to be a petroleum engineer at one point. I want to be a math teacher somewhere along the line too, but I don't want to be a teacher anymore. But I've always wanted to be most of the time, I always wanted to be an engineer. I was torn within high school. I kind of got torn between petroleum or mechanical engineering. And then my internship at Weatherby really solidified my want to become a mechanical engineer.
Any other questions for Kate? Okay.
So vicariously, I want to introduce you to a couple other students. Piper Odell, a senior student, had an internship this year at Sheridan, at the Sheridan Sheriff's Department. I asked again, Piper, as well as another young lady, Ashton McComb, to write up just a little summary of their internship, and I will try to field any questions that you might have. This is what Piper shared. She said, I interned at the Sheriff's Department this first semester, and going into my internship, I knew I wanted to pursue a career in forensic science. However, the law enforcement isn't typically involved with forensic side of things, but everyone at the office worked to get me into activities of my specific interest. I got to learn gun safety and at their range, shoot their specific weapons, go through academy drills, and they put me through everything as if I was a deputy. I also was introduced to tasers and went through the class to shoot a taser myself and watch someone get tasered as well. To get more involved with the forensic science activities, the deputies set up a mock crime scene for me and put me through the process, identifying the crime scene, lifting fingerprints, labeling evidence, taking pictures of the scene, and everything that they would do. The department went out of their way several times to benefit me. I was able to attend an autopsy to be part of that, attended the law enforcement only classes, went on ride-alongs and watched arrests. I got to work in the evidence room and was lucky enough to be able to experience a variety of things that went above the daily job as a deputy. Interning at the Sheriff's Department has helped me secure my desire to become a forensic scientist and has made my interest grow even greater. Even now, after my internship is over, I am still in contact with the deputies and sheriff, and they have even helped me with letters of recommendation and reached out to other forensic agencies for college advice on my behalf. Any questions that I might be able to answer, having a, from the perspective of arranging that experience for her?
I did wonder, insurance came up in terms of running the machinery at Weatherby. What are some of the other challenges for having students participate in these internship programs?
Confidentiality for places like Weatherby or even the Sheriff's Department. We do have a confidentiality statement that we have our students sign, but in particular, like a student that would go to the Sheriff's Department or Police Department, they meet individually with that student and generally the parents and go through what the expectations are with the student about confidentiality as well as the parents. And then the students sign an additional agreement with those locations. I spend time with all the interns when they go out talking to them about professional conduct and how they would conduct themselves in a workplace. And if it ever is something that they're questioning, whether or not they should talk about it, they probably shouldn't. And that's where those mentors come in to help kind of guide that situation as well. We haven't run into any barriers that have eliminated students, but like Kate said, there were machines he couldn't operate because of their liability insurance. But confidentiality is the one that comes to mind for me right away.
And I believe you have another student's
I
experience.
do. This young lady was at a veterinary clinic, and I'm going to paraphrase hers a little bit, but she has spent the entire year at a local veterinary hospital. She came with the desire to go into veterinary science. So she started to visit with me in her sophomore year and filled out an application at the end of her junior year. Quote, she says, although some may think that being a vet and a vet tech is full of a lot of cute, fluffy animals, it is so much more. There are so many things that I learned at my internship, such as working with others, the proper way to handle animals, to run labs, to take animal temperatures. And some of the specific things that she was able to do is, although I don't know exactly what all these things are, she says, some of the tasks that I was able to do was to help float teeth on a horse teeth, open and drain abscesses, fill bags with parts of organs, and do some animal autopsy work. Everyone in the clinic has been nice and has taken the opportunity to teach me and answer my questions. I am excited to continue in the field of veterinary science and excited to say that they offered me a job for the summer.
Hi, this is Amy Pearson. I was just wondering, it's a rigorous process for these kids to apply for this internship. Do you have a lot of kids that aren't accepted, and what do you do with those kids to maybe mentor them in their futures?
What we try to do is start talking to the students when they're sophomores and into that junior year, not only about the classes that they need to take, but we do require a 3.0 GPA. And I will come back to that in just a minute. We talked to them about their attendance at school and being reliable, having little to no discipline referrals. And if I have a student that comes to me that has made some great improvement from maybe their freshman through their sophomore and into their junior year, and they've demonstrated that this is an opportunity they want to take advantage of, we have made some exceptions. I had one young man that at the beginning of the year really wanted a mechanic internship, and he was below that 3.0. And as a sophomore had some kind of rough, some rough times and some bumps in the road. The agreement that I made with him was you demonstrate the first semester of your senior year that this is really what you want to do. And to demonstrate that, you're going to be present in class. You're going to not have any discipline referrals. And periodically, I would like you to check in with me. He did all of those things, even though his GPA was below that 3.0, he was in the 3.7 range. We arranged an internship with him at Hammer's in the shop, Hammer Chevrolet, here in Sheridan. And he has had a fantastic experience there and plans to continue. His desire is to do diesel mechanics at Sheridan College. So we try to kind of shape that experience for the student, even if they don't fit the mold. If a student wants to do it, we try to give them that opportunity with a little bit of coaching and guidance.
Okay, I think there's no more questions at this moment. No further questions from in here right now.
Thank you.